Okay. Here we go. Hey, ladies. Hopefully, you can see and or hear me now. I don't know. I got one thing. Miss Anonymous, can you hear me now? This is so weird. It says I'm live. Hey, Mrs. Living in Hope. You can see and hear me. All right. All right. Unfortunately, I can't see what y'all see. Is it coming in clear? Uh-oh. Hope I didn't break it. Everything's fine. All right, great. Only thing is I can't see myself, which is so weird. But okay. Alrighty then. How y'all doing on a Saturday morning? I don't know. I cannot get with this YouTube. Good morning, Bama, Mrs. Lee. Good morning. How y'all feeling? Oh, this is so weird. My preview player is like not. How y'all feeling? This is so weird. Good, watching TTC IVF videos. You catching up? Sleepy. Oh, what time did you go to bed? I went to bed kind of late. It was probably, I think it was after 12 when I went to bed, trying to catch up with the DVR. I was up watching all kinds of TV. What did I watch yesterday? I watched, I caught up with, I don't know if you guys watch any of those Tyler Perry shows, so I caught up with Have and Have Nots. And I watched Greenleaf. And I watched Marriage Boot Camp. All kinds of crazy TV that I probably shouldn't watch before I go to bed. Ah, this is, I'm telling you, I will never understand this YouTube stuff. It's working. It's not working the way I expected it to. But I guess you guys can hear me. Vacation to catch up on Greenleaf. Yeah, Greenleaf is good this season. It's getting a little juicy right now. Uh, where are the cats? I have one right here that's laying here on the floor. I have another one on the dining room chair over here. And I don't know what the third one is. He could be upstairs. I'm not sure where he is. But they're all usually around. Come here, Sky. This one's closer. Come here. Yeah, she's not feeling me this morning. Come here. Oh, you know what? I know how to get them to come around. I got treats. There we go. Here they come. Come here. Come here. Yeah, they're real greedy. You see that one? I don't know. He act like he can't see. Here. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who the third one is. He must be upstairs. Ah, well. Good morning, Keila Jefferson. Good morning. Hey, from Houston. I'm trying to think when was the last time I was in Houston. Probably a little bit ago. Come here, Sky. Come here. Come up here. There you go. That's a good kitty. Come here. And she jumps back down. Here. They like the treats. They're little gentle things. I don't know if y'all got a chance to see her or not because I can't see myself live and the chat at the same time, which is really weird. Let's see. Do I take a probiotic? Yes. In fact, I do. I actually take 2 probiotics. Hold on a second. And I'll go get them. I mean, I showed them in the video. But I don't have a box right here. Hang on a second. I'll go get all my morning stuff because I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. So give me 1 second. Okay. Y'all don't laugh at me, but I returned with all my stuff. All right, so this is the main probiotic that I use, and let's try to keep that from falling down. All right, so I got some water. I got all my stuff. All right, so, whew. Y'all get more than you bargained for here. All right, let me see. I can't. Here we go. All right, so I got the probiotic here. This is a women's probiotic. It's got 50 billion organisms, 16 probiotic strains of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. So I take one of those. I got my prenatal here. I take one of those. Okay. I've got a B complex. I take this twice a day. So, one twice a day. I have my magnesium glycinate. Right? Yeah. I take this twice a day. So I take 2 of these. These are pretty big too. I take 2 of these twice a day. These big white ones here. Alright. Let's see. This is the other probiotic. It's just some extra acidophilus. it's just more lactobacillus, basically. This is a chewable. I'm supposed to take this like with every meal. I don't always do it, so sometimes I'll get this somewhere between 1 and 3 times a day. Then of course I have my ubiquinol. I take 300 milligrams. This bottle's empty. I got another bottle in the kitchen, so this only has 2. So each one of these is 100 milligrams. So I have to take another one later. I usually take 3 of those. All right, and then my methyl dopa. I take 2 of these. This is my blood pressure med. And since I haven't eaten yet, I also haven't taken my metformin. So give me 1 second because that's in a different room. Hold on. I'm probably not gonna eat, but this is the NAC that I was taking, so I'm gonna take this too. So the metformin, that's just 1 white pill, and then this you're supposed to take on an empty stomach 1 to 3 times a day. That's just 1. I take that when I can. I don't. I mean, trying to get it in between meals is too much. So basically, that's all my pills. And I don't know. I think I got a hair in my water. Okay. So I'm just going to take these now. 1 swallow, all done. All right. Let me check out. Good morning. Let's see. I take all those every day. Yep, every day. So I also take a hair, skin, and nails. I usually take this one. This is one with biotin, but I recently found this one with biotin and collagen. I was taking 4. So right now I'm taking these are gummies, so I'm taking 2 of these, 2 of each. So usually I would take 4 of these, but since I found this and I get the collagen or whatever, so I get it like a little double boost of biotin. And then the B complex also has some extra biotin in it as well. So I attribute all of this to my fantastic hair growth. My hair has been growing like a jungle lately. So I got these 4 gummies, and I'll take that. I know. 1 big gulp of water and all the pills are down. The NAC is a precursor to an antibiotic called glutathione, GLUTATHIONE, and this is to help with egg quality, so it helps boost your mitochondria. 1 pill at a time. Mrs. Living in Hope, try 2 pills in a swallow. If you can swallow 1 big gulp of water, you can get all those pills down at once. I guarantee it. Good morning, herb eater, whoever you are. Interesting name you have. Hopefully you're in the right place. Hey, Lady Mel. How are you? I haven't decided what I wanted to eat for breakfast. I haven't tried maca powder. I think I debate. I haven't tried like Vitex. I haven't tried maca powder. There's quite a few things out there that I just haven't tried yet. Only because, I mean, I'm not having intercourse, right? So it's not a libido thing. I know maca has a lot of other benefits too, but I just haven't made the jump into maca. As far as Vitex is concerned, I haven't had any issues with like my cycle length or ovulating or anything like that. So I just haven't jumped into the Vitex. It's so many things. I've been trying to focus on exactly what I feel like I need. And right now, I feel like I need stress relief. So what you don't see in all of these is ashwagandha. So I started taking ashwagandha. It's a maximum strength 1300 milligram brand. Right now, I'm just taking that at night. I'm not taking it in the morning because this is like I just started taking that on Tuesday, so I kind of wanted to see um, how I was doing with it before I started taking it twice a day. So far so good. I think my sleep is a little bit better with it. I do feel like I'm in a better mood, although everything I read said that you pretty much have to take ashwagandha for like 2 months to really, really start to feel benefits. But I do feel like I'm in a better mood, or I have been in a better mood this week at least while I've been taking the ashwagandha. Some of that could have had to do with the flow therapy that I've been doing over the past few weeks, trying to catch up on my membership. So I don't know. Good sleep is important. Yes, my sleep is horrible. I've been a borderline insomniac for the major part of my adult life. So I've just gotten very used to getting to functioning on very, very little sleep. I guess that'll help me, once I have my little one and they're not letting me get much sleep. I should be able to focus because I've got a lot of practice at it. But it doesn't help my blood pressure not getting good sleep. That's for sure. So I know my videos are delayed. This is officially cycle day 21, where I'm supposed to get all my goals together. um, if my RE wasn't on vacation, the idea is I would be having an FET today. So, as a little preview to the videos that are coming this week, as far as my goals, I did hit all three float therapies. I did get my backyard cleared out. You'll see that video tomorrow. The only thing, I didn't hit my weight goal this morning. I was like 239, but I'm not worried about it. My weight goal was to get under 230 by today. But that birth control, that doggone birth control, this here, I take Riclipsin. So I got about another a little bit. What's today? Today's the 6th. So I got about a week, um, one more week of this, and then I stopped that. My last day is on the 11th. No melatonin. Um, Lady Mel, actually, I've read some conflicting things about melatonin. It can help fertility, it can hurt fertility, so it really, really differs. Also, I know a lot of people, melatonin just doesn't help them at all. So, I don't know. I'm not really, despite how well I just put all these pills down, I'm really not a pill popper at all. I'm a quiet sufferer. I take these things because I feel like I need to increase my chances with this whole fertility thing. Um, I just, I don't know. I don't know. The less pills I can take, the better. Um, but I'm trying. Typical breakfast meals on keto. So, Mrs. Living in Hope, I am not huge on breakfast at all, which is why I have this dawn phenomenon with my glucose, because I have gone years and years and years and years of not eating breakfast at all. So breakfast is not really a big meal for me. I'm perfectly fine with getting a shake in for breakfast. That shake usually consists of a vegan protein powder with greens in it. It's vanilla flavored. Um, I'm not a big fan of chocolate or any of the other flavors. Uh, Let me see. That usually has spinach. If I don't have spinach, it's probably some combination of spinach and baby kale and almond milk, and usually some berry fruit. So it'll either be strawberries by itself, blueberries by itself, blackberries by itself, raspberries by itself, all of them together, and then I'll try to throw some sort of fat in there. So the fat would be either a quarter of an avocado, coconut oil, or I'll use natural peanut butter, and I also have like some natural almond butter, and sometimes I'll throw some chia seeds in there. So if I'm not having a shake, then a typical breakfast for me is like bacon and eggs of some sort with cheese. It's a very, very dirty keto, so I eat dairy. Everything I eat is incredibly organic. Um, so it's usually a couple slices of bacon. That's pork bacon. I like turkey bacon. I like beef bacon. I'm a fan of it all, but most of what I get is like pork bacon, and then some form of eggs. So depending on how I'm feeling, I'll either scramble it, I'll make an omelet. Sometimes I'll throw some portobello mushrooms cut up in there. If I have like some green pepper or tomato, I might make an omelet or something with that. And then I did try these sort of little breakfast quiches. Uh, I posted those on Instagram. They were okay. I tired. I bored of them really quickly. I had 3 days worth. I didn't even eat the third day. Um. Okay. Mrs. Living in Hope, the melatonin best during IVF cycle. I don't. I don't know. Like I said, I just read some conflicting things. So when I see things that conflict, um, I tend to hesitate with them. So for now, I've been staying away from the not staying away, but just not really on the melatonin. The other thing is sleep aids specifically, because I need to get up at a certain time in the morning. I tend to not use them unless I know I have 8 hours. Because I have been on prescribed sleep medications before, like trazodone, and if I don't have 8 hours, I just won't take it because that kind of medicine sort of puts you down. I had like a deep depression, and when I'm depressed or in a bad mood, my insomnia kicks into like full gear, and I have insomnia both ways. So there's two ways you can have insomnia. One way is you have trouble getting to sleep, and another way is you have trouble staying asleep. So most nights I have no trouble getting to sleep, but I do have trouble staying asleep. So I was on trazodone, and I forget the other medicine, but one was to put me down. It was a tranquilizer, and the other one was to keep me down. And I didn't like being on either one of them. But the doctor just kept prescribing, even though I told him I wasn't even taking them. He just kept prescribing it anyway. It was like, oh, just take it when you need it. I don't know. I'm just not a pill popper. um, Miss Anonymous. Do I have a known donor? He's technically not a known donor because I don't know him. He's through the California Crowd Bank. He is the open donor though. So when my kids, whatever I have by him, when they turn 18, they'll be able, after signing a non-disclosure, of course, they'll be able to get whatever information the cryobank has on him, which would include his name, uh, phone number, last known address, all the information on him to make contact. I don't know, Mrs. Living Hope. I don't know if keto has any impact on fibroids. Hi, BD Fro. Um, I don't know if it has any impact on fibroids at all. I am November 30th. I will be 3 years out from my open myomectomy. So, um, and I have had no reoccurrence of fibroids, and it's really interesting because I really only had the one fibroid for many years. It was found in 2006. It was about a little less than 4 centimeters at the time that it was found in late 2006. By the time we got to uh, early 2012, it was about 12 centimeters. And then I started having the GI symptoms where I had like blood clots in my stool, like right before my cycles every month. So I went to the gastrointestinal, the GI doctor, and had a colonoscopy. And he didn't find anything wrong except the fact that I had a 12 centimeter fibroid. Basically, this fibroid was pedunculated. It was sitting on top of my uterus like a hat. But again, it was 12 centimeters. So if you think a woman has to dilate to 10 centimeters to get a baby out, that's probably about 10, right? A large grapefruit, 12 is probably bigger than like something like this, right? So it was pretty big. He thought maybe that might have had something to do with the symptoms that I was having. But when I went to my GYN, who was also my RE, he was more concerned about my endometrial lining, which at the time I believe was 23, 24 millimeters. And so he was concerned about endometrial cancer. Yeah, clots in my stool. I didn't have like free flowing like blood. It was just clots in the actual stool. So um yeah, the good thing is out. So he was more concerned about the endometrial lining than he was the fibroid itself. So he wanted to do a biopsy, which he didn't get what he wanted from the office biopsy. So I ended up having to go in and have an actual hysteroscopy under anesthesia for him to get what he wanted. And then I think he did a DNC during that one too. And it turned out I had hyperplasia, but there's different forms of hyperplasia. I had the simple hyperplasia. Hyperplasia is just I guess, an abnormal growth of endometrial cells, and mine was simple. There is a complex version of it as well, but hyperplasia can be a precursor to endometrial cancer. The good thing about it is it's reversible, but in order for it to be reversed, you basically have to go on a progestin. So I had been on a progestin on and off for about a year and a half prior to this point, which I believe is why my fibroid sort of grew to 12 centimeters. This particular time, to reverse the hyperplasia, I was on a much higher dose of progestin, and I think it was northindrone. It was either I think it was northindrone that I was on, but I was basically on a much higher dose of it, and it was every day. So he prescribed me 12 weeks, basically 3 months. And then 6 weeks in, I came in for another biopsy. After 6 weeks on the progestin, that biopsy showed that my hyperplasia was gone, which was good. So I didn't have to take it anymore. However, he thought, okay, well, we're done. And I'm like, well, what about my fibroid? He's like, oh, the fibroid's fine. It's on the outside of your uterus. And I'm like, even if I want to have kids? And he said, "Oh yeah, it's not going to bother the baby because it's on the outside." And I'm like, "Well, dude, it's a huge growth. At some point, a baby gets in there, it's gonna hurt me some kind of way. Not saying, I don't want to want the baby to be okay, but I need to be okay too if I'm carrying the baby." So he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. My wife had 3 fibroids. She had kids. It's fine. Yada yada." And then I was just like, "Well, what about my GI symptoms because they're still there?" And so he was just like, "All right, well, let's do a CT scan to see where the fibroid is in relation to my intestines to see if that was causing the the blood clots. So the colonoscopy I had in March of 2015. And then I had a pelvic ultrasound right before that colonoscopy, so that had measured the fibroid at 12 centimeters. The CT, after dealing with the hyperplasia, was in October of 2015, and the CT basically measured my fibroid to then be 20 centimeters. So it went from 12 centimeters to 20 centimeters from March to October. And so at that point, he's like, "Oh no, we got to get it out of there." So a week later, I was getting an MRI, and then about a month later, 3 weeks roughly, I had the surgery at the end of November. So if anybody's interested, I do have a picture of it. Um, if you all want to see. Well, actually, I'll say the CT found that the fibroid had grown to 20 centimeters, but it also found, I think, like 3 little small ones. But if anybody's interested, I do have a picture of the fibroid that was taken out. Let's see if I can find it on my phone really fast. 12 to 20, yep. Actually, the MRI measured it at like more like 19, but I think by the time I had the surgery, it was actually starting to die, because it had basically all the notes on it just said that it had necrosis in the middle. But apparently that's really common with fibroids that grow really quickly, because they do need a blood supply, and when they grow really quickly, the cells grow, but the veins and the blood supply doesn't grow as quickly with it. So essentially, it can't survive. Like, it doesn't live as long. So eventually, it'll start to die. So I mean, it was 20 centimeters. I had literally no pain associated with it. However, I had a belly. I mean, this thing weighed almost 5 pounds, you know. So I was basically carrying a full term baby, 20 centimeters, almost 5 pounds, um, just without all the amniotic fluid. And my uncle and I probably mentioned this in the video before, but my uncle had passed away about 2 weeks before my surgery, and I went to his funeral, and everyone there thought I was pregnant. So that was no one except my one aunt had the balls to actually come up and ask me if I was pregnant. I think everyone else just pretty much assumed that I was pregnant. Let me see. I got a picture of me. Let's see if I can find it, because that was 3 years ago. I'm such a hoarder when it comes to my phone. So I've got these pictures in here somewhere. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly. And I've got a pretty gnarly scar behind it all too. So my surgery was open, and I've got a vertical cut. So from my uh, from my bikini line up to just under my belly button, you guys have seen the scar. So I don't know how well this will show, but this is what I looked like 2 weeks before the surgery. I totally understand why people would think that I was pregnant, because I certainly had what looks like a bump, and I don't know. I just thought I was fat. This is crazy, right? So for the ladies that are watching, I will show a picture of the fibroid. I did find it. if you're squeamish, it's not really a scary looking picture, but if you're squeamish at all, I'm just gonna say I'm about to show it, and then I'll tell you when you can look back at the screen. Okay? You would have asked if I was pregnant too. Yeah, most of that family hadn't seen me. I mean, I don't really have at that point in time, that was 2015. I think my niece here? Yeah, I think my niece had pretty much just moved down here with me, but I pretty much didn't have any family here, so people didn't really see me. Yeah. All right, so I'm about to show the picture of the fibroid. If you're squeamish, turn away from the screen. Okay, right now. And you can see the huge fibroid, and then the three little ones, and then there's like a ruler down there at the bottom, and I think that's like a 15 centimeter ruler. But yeah, it's pretty huge. All right, so you can look back at the screen now if you didn't want to see it. But yeah, so it was, fortunately for me, the fibroid was called pedunculated, which means it was basically hanging from a stalk. So he didn't have to cut in. Yeah, he didn't have to cut into my uterus to get it out. Yeah, yeah, almost 20 centimeters. It weighed almost 5 pounds. So he came and saw me in the hospital. I spent like 4 days in the hospital after the surgery, and he was like, I can't believe you were walking around with that thing in you. But I'm looking at him like, you're the reason. Good morning, Rakosha. Good morning. Yes, yes. Yes, true baby bumps. True baby bumps. I mean, I still have a belly, but it definitely doesn't look like that anymore. So, um, glad to have that out of there, and I'm glad that now. I mean, granted, that was almost 3 years ago. Um, the day before the surgery, I weighed in at about 244 pounds. Um, they weighed me on the bed after surgery. I gained about 30 pounds of fluid after the surgery because they said I weighed like 260 something. So almost 30 pounds of fluid after the surgery. And so since the fibroid weighed 5 pounds, I should have weighed more like 238, but then I was like 260 something. Once they got me to the room. So that was certainly an experience, not my first surgery, unfortunately, but that's the longest I've spent in the hospital uh, for surgery. I think the longest I've ever spent in the hospital was when I was a kid. I want to say, I'll say I broke my arm, but really my brother broke my arm. And I was in traction for about 8 days. So that's the longest time I've ever spent in the hospital. Yeah. So I mean, I'm incredibly blessed. I mean, my fibroids run rampant on both sides of my family. My mother had a full hysterectomy behind her fibroids. Lots of heavy bleeding. My aunt that has 7 kids, my mom's youngest sister, she had fibroids. She actually had a huge fibroid while she was pregnant. That had to be removed. And she still has her uterus, but she's got her tubes tied now. She's got 7 kids. So the fibroids definitely runs rampant on my mother's side of the family. I think every woman on my mother's side of the family, including myself and all my sisters, has had something removed from the uterus, ovaries, whether it's a polyp, a fibroid, a cyst, even like my cousins, as far as I know. So, not very good uterine health on my mother's side of the family, but they seem to be fertile myrtles. Unfortunately, I'm not a fertile myrtle. The fertile myrtle must have skipped me. I would never have imagined having so much trouble getting preggers, for sure. I will say, though, Oh, I haven't said this in video yet, but I'll give this little tidbit to you now because I haven't said it in any recorded video. Hey, Katrina. Oh, yeah. 55. Oh, my gosh. A girlfriend of mine just had a myomectomy. I think she didn't have as many as you, though. I think she had like 13, 13 of various sizes removed. Oh, my gosh. Well, I hope you're recovering well. July, August, September, October. November. Yeah, you're about 4 months in. So if you're TTC and you can start about now. Good night. 55. I'm glad to see you on the other side of this surgery. Wow. Do you know what size your biggest one was? Did they give you a picture of all of them? Oh, you know what? They might have been clusters. I've seen that. I watched a lot of myomectomy videos. They thought it was one big fibroid. It ended up being a cluster of fibroids. Sheesh. Ugh. Mm, mm, mm. You know, 9 centimeters. Yeah, that's pretty big. You know, they say if you have one fibroid, you have hundreds. They might just be too small to see. I know that's one of the first things I read when I first started researching fibroids. That's crazy. Yeah, Katrina, did you have pain? Excessive bleeding? Were any of them inside the cavity of your uterus? Because I had a friend of mine that she had to have an emergency myomectomy because her hemoglobin dropped to like I want to say 6. Her hemoglobin was so low. Mm. Yeah, a friend of mine, she had pain with sex, pain with periods, extremely heavy bleeding, all intramural. Oh man, do you have um? Did they give you a good prognosis for carrying? Hopefully, or did they tell you how long you had to wait before you could start trying to get pregnant? I mean, I'm just assuming that if you follow this channel that you're probably trying to conceive as well. Hopefully you got a good prognosis. I don't know how long they said you have to wait. Usually they say 4 to 6 months. But those were all in the walls. Good night. Wait, 6 months, yeah. So are you doing anything to keep them from recurring? Are you going to acupuncture? Have you seen like a Chinese herbalist who can help with some herbal supplements that would help keep them away? Check for scar tissue before. Yeah. I will say, I mean, I don't want to wish anything bad on anybody. Oh, good, good. The acupuncture really helps. I attribute my acupuncturist and the Chinese herbs to not having any reoccurrence of fibroids in the last 3 years. Yeah. Do you feel more energetic? I don't know. I think I don't know. My sister said she felt better after getting her fibroids removed. Like she felt like the fibroids were like sucking all the life out of her. I will say though, Katrina, when you start, do get an HSG at the end of your 6 months. You got about 2 more months. I would plan to get an HSG because I mean I had the one big one that sat on top of my uterus and the three little small ones. But the I think the scarring basically blacked up my whole left tube and damaged my right tube. So I would have hoped. Uh, I am 5 feet 4.5 inches. This is anonymous. I've been the same height since the 8th grade. Same height with the 8th grade. Now, I mean, some people. I don't know if you how you feel about serapeptase. That's something that you could maybe help to keep some of the scarring down. I think once the scar tissue is there, it's not a whole lot you can do, or it just takes longer. The serapeptase didn't really work for me. However, I only gave it a few months. I know some women after a year on the serapeptase were able to conceive naturally. Yeah, I presume. So, Katrina, was that an open myomectomy? I presume 55 that then it must have been open, but I know a lot of people do get them via lap. Serapeptase, you can get that on Amazon. Doctor's Best brand is is really popular, and I'll put in the yeah, didn't like you. It gave you headaches, right, Verkosha? Oh wow, so they got all of those out laparoscopically. Good for you, because I've got a nasty scar right now. I don't know if you saw my ERA video where I asked my RE if I could have a vaginal birth. He said he didn't see why I couldn't, but it really just depends on once I get pregnant. But he said, but I asked if I had to have a C-section if they would cut me vertically again. He said, no, we do transverse. And I'm like, but then I'd have two scars. So whoever my OB is, I'm going to ask. Yeah. Even with a low dose for kosher, just start with a low dose and work your way up. That's what I did. I didn't start with like I started. As a matter of fact, I'll I got a bottle in here. I haven't finished. Hold on. This one here is the one I was taking, the high potency. And there are lower potencies, so you don't have to go as high as 120,000. There are some lower ones than this, but this just says one. I think at some point I was taking, because they say one daily away from food. So I think at some point I was taking probably somewhere up to like 40s. Yeah. So maybe just start with one and take it for a week, see how you feel. Yeah. Katrina, I I think you've just had so many cuts into your uterus they don't want to risk. Um they don't want to risk the contractions and your uterus may be tearing. or rupturing. But I think I knew going into my myomectomy that I would most likely have to have a C-section. So I gave up any delusions of grandeur about a vaginal birth. But I mean, it's been almost 3 years. He only had to cut into my uterus a little bit. Um, Hopefully, I can have a vaginal birth, but it's really just going to be up to, I guess, the OB or whoever delivers me at that time, whether I have a C-section or not, and maybe up to the baby. So we'll see. I know. I'm perfectly fine. I don't pardon me. I think I don't know. Going into this, I guess I've just prepared myself for just having a C-section. But I don't know. There's some benefits to that too. You can schedule the C-section so you know exactly what day baby's going to be born. It's not a secret or a surprise, I should say. So there's one little bit of it. Yeah, as long as the baby can get out healthy, happy, screaming with life, that's all that matters. That is all that matters. But we'll see. We will see. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you guys. So I had the karyotyping done, the blood karyotyping, to see if my chromosomes were normal. That came back perfectly normal. Um, it took like three. I think it took like somewhere 3 to 4 weeks, to come back. You probably won't see it in another video because it was pretty uneventful. Wasn't a whole lot there in the report. Just to mention, my chromosomes seem to be normal. So the fact that I'm not getting very many embryos out of my IVF retrievals either has something to do with my age, which I'm still not really buying. Thanks, Kosha. Um, or it could be just the combination of the my donor and me. But I'll tell you this: I have been in contact with some women who have used my donor, and in at least two of the women that I've been in contact with that have had IVF with this particular donor, they had similar results to mine, where they had a fair enough amount of eggs that fertilized, and they only ended up with like one or two normal embryos out of it. So, but the good news is they've got babies. So I know one was pregnant with twins. She lost one, well, I think on a fresh transfer. She lost one in about 9 weeks, but she gave birth to a healthy boy. Um, I think another one gave birth to a boy. The last woman I talked to was pregnant with boy girl twins. Yeah, so my karyotyping was fine. Hi, Sky Robin. How are you? But yeah, so all my abnormal embryos were boys. So far, the women, most of the women um who were either pregnant or giving birth that I know about were pretty much with boys. So he's certainly got some boy sperm going on there, that's for sure. I'll let y'all still guess at what my normal embryos. Oh no, good try, Bama Mrs. Lee. Good try. Still not sharing. Still not sharing. But let's say I had six blastocysts. Out of six blastocysts, is it six? Yeah, out of six blastocysts, four were abnormal, all four were boys. Yeah. I know you had to try. It's okay. It's okay. I want you guys to be like surprised or something. I don't know. I'm not surprised. Somebody should be surprised, right? So, I mean, I've only got the two embryos. Hopefully, I get a baby from both of them. But I'm anxious. I'm anxious because, like I said, my last day on birth control is the 11th. So that's what, 5 days? Just five more days. Well, 6 more days, including tonight, because I take it at night. And then my next appointment with the RE is the 16th. So by the time I get to the 16th, that'll be like my baseline. And then I guess as long as my blood pressure is under control, um, that'll be my cycle for my FET. And we're looking to do the transfer the week of November 12th. So it's getting close. I'm excited. I am excited. I'm sick of this birth control, man. I'm telling you, it is not helping the scale be my friend, that's for sure. I hope I get those two babies too. Thank you, Katrina. Now, I got to get them one at a time, though. I got to get them one at a time because they're both PGS tested. He's only going to put one back. Although he asked me if I wanted to put two back, and I was just like, "Oh, will you be willing to put two back at a time?" But considering the issues with my blood pressure and my glucose, I don't want to test the waters there. So I'll just do one at a time. Thank you, thank you. I'll take all the baby dust. All the baby dust. I'm so excited. There's this crazy BFP train that's going on right now. You got Lisa and Lindsay announced the pregnancy. Lily G announced the pregnancy. Uh Quite a few women I follow on Instagram have announced a pregnancy. There is a serious BFP train going on right now, and I'm hoping to be on it in the next, I guess it'll be like the next month and a half. I know, Lily G reported that I think she put two back, but she ended up was looking like identical twins, and they were blastocysts. Now, blastocysts are less likely to split than, say, like a 3-day transfer when it's at the cleavage stage. But she's got that rare split, and both babies seem to be looking great so far. Man, if I get one that splits, I mean, that's the way God wanted it. I'll take it, but that's the way God wanted it. And I truly believe God doesn't give us more than we can handle. So if he sees fit to give me twins all by myself, then I'm all for it. I will be on this BFP train. That's right. Baby or bust. 2018, baby or bust. It's my year. It's your year. It's all our year. This year's not over. I'm not giving up for those of us. Hopefully it's Tanika's year as well, because she's working on her IVF. As well. I want to see us all on this BFP train and sporting bumps in 2019. Yes, bumps will be in next year. Bumps will be in next year. Yes. Woo. That one might split. Yeah. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll give you I know we're over the hour mark, but I'll give you ladies a little glimpse into, I know I haven't posted I know Chris and Joe, Tanika, who else is trying? That's not here. Yes, yes. I know I haven't posted a dating while TTC in a while. I do still have one video that I recorded. It's edited. I just haven't found a place to post it just yet because of all the other videos that I've been posting with the weight challenge and everything. But just as a little bit of preview, I started talking. I had a first conversation with a guy that I met on a dating site. I won't say which dating site. And he's 38. He has 2 kids of his own. And he asked me how many kids I had. I told him technically none, although I do have 2 in winter camp. But I can't really say that to him, right? Because I'm I don't lead the dating situation with the fact that I am TTC. But he asked me, "Oh, what, you don't want kids?" And I said, well, yeah, I want them. But that's a deep conversation. If you want to get into it now, we can. But let me just say that it'll leave you with a lot to think about. And that intrigued him. He started asking questions. He started assuming that maybe I didn't want kids, that I was maybe waiting for the right person and all of that. So I had to get into the story of why I don't have kids. And I tried to leave it at, well, I don't have kids right now because I've never been married. And he's like, so you were trying to wait to be married to have kids? And I'm like, well, not exactly. So we got into the conversation. Yes, we got into the conversation, and I basically explained where I am in the vein of transparency and honesty. And I did let him know this isn't something I usually lead with, but because he asked me the question, I wanted to answer it honestly. And his response, as all the men's responses, yeah, I'm cool with that. But he felt like he wouldn't change his mind. He's got 2 kids of his own already. He understands my position, and he's perfectly fine with continuing to like get to know me and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, we continued to have he wanted to like dead the conversation and not like dwell on it anymore. It wasn't even a date. This is a first phone conversation. How about that? It is heavy, and it's not something that I would bring up myself. But because he asked me about it, I tried to sort of dance around it and give him an opportunity to maybe not get into the deep conversation. But he wanted to do it. So I said, all right, well, it's either going to run him away or not. I guess better sooner than later. I still struggle with when's the best time to like bring up the fact that I'm TTC. And the reality here is I could be pregnant by the end of November. So, which is like literally next month. So it's for me, it's a struggle because I want to be honest and I'm not interested in wasting people's time. Yeah, yeah. But see, I didn't tell him I had 2 in winter camp. I just said that I've been trying for like the last 18 months, and I've been having trouble with it, but that I could very well be pregnant. He asked me out on a date. We're supposed to be going out on a date on Tuesday. We had the conversation. He said, listen, I'm cool with it. I got 2 kids. I understand your position. You're older. You want to be a mom. You're doing this. He asked me if I knew the guy who would be the baby dad. And I explained to him that it's a donor from a bank. I don't have any contact with him, that the kids can contact him when they turn 18. But pretty much I would have no interaction with him whatsoever. Um, I've I even explained to him that when I mentioned it to other guys that, some of them, I think guys tend to be like, oh yeah, that's cool because, they're not really thinking long term. Some guys can't see past their pants. So, it's cool as long as they can get what they want, I guess, or it's cool while it sounds like an idea, but like once I actually get pregnant, it becomes more real. So you just don't know. And I said he should sleep on it. Yeah, yeah. I said he should sleep on it. He's like, I don't need to sleep on it. I'm fine. I'm not going to change my mind about it. I still want to get to know you. And this is that and the other. And I said, well, all right. And I just left it at that. And he didn't want to talk about it anymore because I guess he felt like he didn't need any more conversation about it. And I said, if you ever have any questions, I'm an open book. You can ask me any question you want. So we'll see if we make it to the date, Mrs. Living in Hope. I get asked on dates all the time. They just never happen. So we'll see. Can you do GRWM? What's GRWM, Keela? I'm not sure what that is. But I don't know. He seems like a nice guy. Pretty mature. He wants to have mature conversation. I will say he was pretty persistent with me and my schedule because I don't hand over the cell phone, so I don't do the texting thing. And we were, oh, get ready with me. I will. I will try. I will try to do a get ready with me for the date because But it's a Tuesday. It's a work day. I don't know if I'll be able to fit it in, but I'll try. I'm not going to schedule it. If I go live, I'll go live. So Tuesday night, we haven't set a time. If we do go to dinner, because he lives about probably like 45 minutes away, so it'll probably be like a 8 o'clock type date. So I could probably do an hour. Yeah, I don't know all those acronyms, girl. I ain't with these YouTube acronyms. That's for the young whippersnappers. I can't keep up with all that stuff. Yeah, that get ready with me. Yeah, I'll try. I will try. I can't promise I will try, but just Tuesday night, stay posted around. I'm gonna say around between 5:30 and 6 p.m. Look for like a live notification if I do go live. I'll try. I will try. I have no idea because I get stood up a lot, so I don't know if it'll happen. The plans aren't firm yet. He said he would firm them up by like today or the end of this weekend or something. We'll see. We'll see. But it's also a work day, so I got to try my best to get off of meetings so that I can get ready. So that's really what's holding me up from committing to the get ready with me, because I'll probably be rushing or something and not have like the leisurely time. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a get ready with me if I can be leisurely enough. We'll see how the workday goes, or if the day even happens. If the day even happens. But I don't know. He seems nice. We'll see how it goes when I get pregnant. I'm claiming my BFP right now. When I get pregnant, we'll see. But that's a little tidbit there on him and that conversation that literally just happened last night. He said he would call me this morning, but I told him not too early. I was hoping he wouldn't call during the live, because then I wouldn't be able to talk to him. But we'll see. He might wait till like the afternoon or something, Nicole. No. So I don't know. I haven't been on a date. Oh my gosh. In over 2 years, almost 2.5 years. Yes, yes. Claiming this BFP. I'm trying my best to stay positive. I'm also trying my best because I still got a lot of time before the actual FET happens. So I've been trying like not to focus on when it's coming, but like just focus on getting my stress level down. And I think the ashwagandha is certainly helping with that. To pull my blood pressure down, and just focusing on all this stuff like around the house that I need to do. The one thing I didn't accomplish with the goals, I should say by this morning, is I didn't hit the weight goal, but I think the birth control has a lot to do with that. Fortunately, I'll be off of this in 5 days, and then I haven't yet cleaned my office upstairs and done the carpet cleaning, so I plan to do that today. Um, to hopefully like to clear and check that goal, as today is cycle day 21. And so, and then I'm extending the weight loss goal to get under 220 by my FET in November. I need it. Exactly. Exactly. I've been stood up so much. I need a day, a time, a place, and I need to hear from you within 12 hours of the date. That's the other requirement. I need to hear from you within 12 hours. Yep. I don't have time. I don't have time to be stood up. That's right. That's right. Listen, I work from home. I look like this most days. Okay. It takes a lot to pull it together to be outside in front of somebody for me. So I'm just like, listen, okay. I need to hear from you. If I don't hear from you, ain't no date. I'm not gonna try to get ready. I need to hear from you like that morning or something, just to confirm we still getting together that day. I don't know why he picked Tuesday. He didn't try to do anything this weekend. I guess Tuesday. He said Tuesday or Wednesday. I guess Tuesday or Wednesday is his days off or something. I don't know. But I was also contacted by this guy that I knew before, and I don't know, just we had gone out for breakfast because he used to work at the airport. I guess he doesn't work at the airport anymore, but he worked the third shift, so I guess he got off of work and then we met up for breakfast at Denny's. And it was a good date, but he never wanted to talk on the phone. Like he just wanted to text all the time. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Oh, I can't text because I work a third shift. I don't have time to call you. Nah, dude, my dad worked a third shift my entire life. He wasn't asleep all day. Okay, you got time to call. Try that. I work a third shift and I don't have time to do nothing else with somebody who don't know. So he's reached out to me quite a few times. I've just ignored him. He reached out to me again yesterday, and I was just like, "So what's gonna be different?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I will actually meet. Well, we met before, so what's different now?" Oh, well, I mean, I want something serious. I said, "So now you want something serious?" I don't get it. He said he always wanted something serious. Well, I couldn't tell. So I don't know. I'm kind of over him. He's a good looking guy, but I can't, I'm not good. This would literally be like his third chance, third or fourth chance. I'm over this second, third, and fourth chances with these men. You got to get it right the first time, or come extremely correct. I will say that this guy I was talking to last night was very persistent. No, so Keela, see, this is the thing. You asked me out on a date, then you want to go out. So you need to be firming up the time. I'm not gonna call you to firm up the time. I'll ask you when we make the plans, like while we're on the phone, when, where, when and where. If you can't give me a when and where there, you tell me you'll get back to me. Then I'm waiting for you to get back to me. If you don't get back to me, as far as I'm concerned, the plans are penciled in. And if something else more firm comes up, it's taking that time slot. Because you couldn't make a firm plan. And it's a little rough, I think, for these guys, but it's a lesson in the consequence as far as I'm concerned. Like I don't want the kind of I don't hey Michelle. I don't want the kind of dude that's wishy washy with the plans. Like, if you want to go out, make a plan, firm it up, and confirm it. And I'll be there. If I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. Now, I might be like, 5 or 10 minutes late, but I'm usually worth the wait. I'm usually worth the wait. But I'll call and say I'm running late, so you don't just think I'm about to stand you up. Exactly, exactly. He would call and make sure the plans are in place. You just like that last guy that was just like, oh, well, we can go to dinner, and I'm like, well, when and where? And he's just like, well, do you eat dinner at 10 o'clock in the morning? No, but we trying to make plans for dinner, right? And then I didn't hear from him, and then he got mad because I ate dinner by the time I heard from him again. Well, you didn't firm up the plans, dude. I'm not sitting around waiting hungry for you. You think I don't have nothing else better to do with my time than sitting around waiting for you to call me back about a date? Exactly. Exactly. If I didn't learn anything from that movie, he's just not that into you, is a guy who was interested will be very persistent. Very persistent. You hear stories about guys going through the phone books because they only had the girl's first name or they only had the girl's initials or something like that trying to find a girl that they really really want to talk to. A guy can be real persistent when he want what he want, but I don't know. Social media, I think, has like ruined society. Like these women have become so accessible. The guys just don't put much effort anymore. And I think that's part of why I'm still single. Because I'm not looking for a guy that just wants to fly by night. Oh yeah, well maybe we can go to dinner. I don't really have a plan, but you want to tie up my time for maybe? Nah, nah. Or they like to call you and say, "Come on, put some clothes on. Let's go out now." It's 9 o'clock. I'm in for the night. Thanks. Let's go out now. You're not my man. I just met you. No, no. If you want to go out, we can make a plan for one. Call me Casa Diddy, call me bougie, call me stuck up. It is what it is. That's my standard. If it means I'll be single longer, then that's what it means. I just can't. I just can't anymore. Not with the shenanigans. Not with the shenanigans. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I was out here married. I'd love to be married. I've never been proposed to. I didn't always want kids, but I always wanted to be married. I always wanted to be married. There's only one man in my life ever that I've ever considered being my husband. And well, he's on his second wife now. So he ain't sitting around waiting for me. But we'll see. I mean, I like marriage. I like the idea of marriage. But I also like the idea of separate bank accounts. I don't want to say it's the independence in me, but it's just I know how I am with my money. I ain't trying to ask nobody for the permission to spend money. I work hard for the money that I have and all of that. Yes. Uh, I'm 38 now. I don't think I would have started TTC 10 years ago, but I certainly would have started maybe at 30 instead of starting at 36. Not even 36, 37. I guess I would have started at like 30. I started at 37. I would have started almost 10 years. Almost 10 years. But I didn't know that I had barriers. I didn't know that my fibroid surgery. I mean, I wouldn't have started until after I got the fibroid removed. So I got the fibroid removed. I was 35 then. So I maybe would have started knowing that the fibroid was smaller. Maybe I would have started at 30. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I don't want to call it a fairy tale, but I always have visions of, life and family and children and being pregnant and having a man to rub your belly and talk to the baby and kiss on the belly and all that great stuff. I'm like a hopeless romantic, right? So, I envision all of this stuff for myself and going through this process as a single mom by choice. I'm grieving that fantasy that may not happen for me. And considering how hard it is for me to get pregnant, and how non, I don't want to say non-productive, but how not as productive my IVFs have been, I'm also starting to grieve perhaps being able to give my husband a baby. I've been through 2 IVFs. I've come out with 1 embryo. There's a high likelihood that whoever I marry at this point, I may not be able to give them a baby. So that's something that I'm sort of grieving right now too. Separate homes. I wouldn't mind a big house with separate wings. We could be in the same house though. Yeah, separate homes on the same land. They're connected by a bridge or some type of walkway. The rooms connected by a bridge. I wouldn't mind two wings with the bedrooms connected by a bridge. Yeah. I grieve the whole fantasy, and I also grieve maybe not finding a husband, right? Because you have kids, the time and the focus and all of that. I could freeze eggs, but at my age, my RV has said at my age the eggs don't survive the freeze or the thaw as well as they would if I were younger. So if you're younger and not ready to start, the suggestion would be freezing eggs. I wish I would have, I would say in college, I wish I would have frozen some eggs then, but I didn't have the money. I was too busy paying for a private university education. So I thought about freezing eggs when I went into IVF because I didn't know how many eggs I would get out, but I wanted to have enough eggs. I wanted to have enough embryos to get my two babies out of this process in the event that I didn't find a husband in time. So I told my RE that the first 15 eggs that he got out, I wanted to fertilize. Anything over 15, I wanted to just freeze as eggs for my potential future husband. But I never even got more than 12. So, and I didn't want to lower it to 10 because, statistically, half by halves, I just wanted to have enough. But, God gives you what you need, not always what you want. So, maybe the two embryos I have is what I need, or maybe I'll have a husband. I mean, I would have to meet him pretty soon. But maybe I'll have a husband and get pregnant naturally, just having someone to try with every month. Because, I mean, as of right now, I'm pretty much, I don't want to call myself infertile, but maybe like, not really sterile. But it would be really hard for me to get pregnant. So, I guess if I had a husband, I wouldn't even be trying to prevent at that point. Am I doing another retrieval? Right now, no. Right now, I'm going to do a frozen embryo transfer. If it fails, I hope it doesn't. I'm claiming my BFP with this transfer. But if it fails, I will attempt to see if insurance will go in on another retrieval. Because remember, insurance paid for one retrieval, and I had to pay out of pocket for the second. And as far as I'm concerned, they're not privy to any information on my second retrieval because they didn't pay for it. So if they're going to make any judgments about me banking embryos, it needs to be on the cycle that they paid for. So if I have a transfer and it's unsuccessful, then based on that, I will try to get my insurance to pay for another retrieval. If they will pay for another retrieval, then I will do another retrieval at that point. But at that point, I'm looking for another donor, which is another reason why I don't really want to have to do another retrieval. Children prior is time sensitive for sure. When I was growing up, one of the ladies got married for the first time in her late 70s, and she was so happy for her husband. Yeah, Mrs. Living Hope, I tell people all the time, like, I may not find my true love until I'm 60, but I can't have a baby at 60. Although apparently there's some women out there doing that too, but I don't want to have a baby at 60. I don't want to be Janet Jackson having a baby at 50. I don't want to do that. And this is even later than I ever wanted to have kids as well. I mean, I said for the longest I wanted to have both my kids by the time I was 30, and then that got pushed out to 35, and then 37, and then 38, and then 39, and then now it's just like, okay, I just want my first kid before I'm 40. I just want my first one before 40. and um, if I can get them both before 40, great. But that would mean, this one would have to split because I turn, or, well, yeah, one would have to split. I'm 39 in April, so I'm already, if I get pregnant with this transfer, fingers crossed, yes, Miss Anonymous, I'll be 39 giving birth to this one. So I'm fine with the first one before 40. I'd like, I would have loved both of them before 40, but it is what it is. I gotta play with the cards I'm dealt. Yeah. Yeah, women are finding love at every age. Finding love at every age. And at the end of the day, you just want somebody to grow old with. And you just want somebody, to kind of be there. Nobody wants to close their eyes for the last time and be alone. So whether that's a long-term commitment or a marriage, whatever it is, you know. But I like the idea of marriage and wearing rings and saying my husband and my wife and Mr. and Mrs. and all that great stuff. I'll probably hyphenate my last name though. I'll probably hyphenate the last name. I don't know how the husband will feel about that, but it is what it is. I've already decided I'm hyphenating no matter what it is. I prayed I would get pregnant before 40. It didn't happen. Yeah. I know it's just life, man. Life. And I say, that's right. Hyphenated. I worked hard, you know, I guess for the name I have. I mean, my dad has passed away, but, and I have a brother who's carrying on the name and all of that, but I don't know. I actually got picked on for my last name. But, I don't know. I just think I have one of those last names that, when hyphenated, it sounds really grand. Like those rich families that, like, you can kind of, one rich family marries another rich family, and you hear the hyphenated last names, and you just know, it just sounds like money. That's how I feel. Ah, so you just been living with your maiden name, Idris. I don't know if I would change my last name because my child already has my last name. Yeah, that's a reason to hyphenate. You can hyphenate if your child has, that way you know your name still has your child's name in it. You didn't see it as a problem. Yeah, yeah. I think men, they get insulted when you say you don't want to take their name, or if you don't want to take on their name completely and get rid of your maiden name. I don't know what that's about. It's like, cool, chill your ego. We married. I chose you. That should be good enough. A name is just a name. They're easily changed. But I like the idea of hyphenation because if I choose to stop using the husband's name, I can do that. Not that I'm planning for a marriage to fail, but sometimes you got to hope for the best and plan for the worst. Which is why I also plan to do a prenup. I ain't rich, but I may be one day. I think even poor people should do prenups. Why not? I work hard for what I have. I work hard for my retirement money. And I don't want somebody coming in thinking I'm some sugar mama or whatever, trying to grab half of my retirement that I don't work most of my life to build up. No thanks. Yep. Yep. Gonna get that prenup done. Listen, you don't want to sign a prenup. It's not that I'm preparing for divorce, but if you don't want to sign a prenup, then what's really good? The prenup is to protect you and me, right? It's not just about me. I'm not saying here's the prenup that my lawyer drew up. So, we can talk about the terms together. I don't want to pull a Candy Burris and do it like, a week before the wedding. And then sort of force you to sign it the day of. I don't want to do that. But I think that's something that should be talked about. Oh no, yeah, Mary J. Blige, poor thing. She is. I'm telling you, love makes you stupid. And I mean, I don't already talked about did my little 3-video series on Raymond, right? Love just makes you incredibly stupid, and I'm not doing that anymore. What's love got to do with it? Is what I say. Let's sign this here paperwork, and then we can focus on love. Yep. There's prenups, there's postnups. You can make addendums. What was I watching? Housewives of Potomac. She extended her husband had issues. She extended her prenup an extra 2 years or something like that to show her commitment to the marriage or whatever. It sounded like they're getting divorced anyway. So that was pretty stupid on her part, I think. So she either got to put up with another 2 years with him and not having a baby, wasting her good young years, or get less money. So I don't know. I say do the prenup. We as women, what Susie Orman say, we gotta just power in our money, and it's not even just about money. It's just about protecting yourself. Come in, leave with what you came in with. The benefit is, I helped upgrade you. Wear a dress and get out more. 2 years, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I got a closet full of really cute dresses that I never get to wear. I got 6-inch platform heels that I never get to wear because I'm short. I got a little Napoleon complex, and it's just I haven't been out on a date for a long time. He is wasting her time and her youth. He don't want a baby at all. He's older, so I don't blame him for not wanting a baby. But she needs to see through all the strings he's pulling her on and get on out. And she might be staying for a little bit of the money, but yeah, no amount of money can buy your peace of mind. There's no price on peace of mind. Go on here, girl, get on out there. You sit around waiting for him long enough, and before you know it, she'll be like us, having trouble conceiving when she could have been doing it years earlier. So again, love make you stupid. I mean, she love him, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. That's like for me, that's like a question. I've had guys say that, or like guys contact me on dating sites, and their profile says they don't want children. It specifically says they do not want children. And then they'll message me, and I'm just like, we're not compatible. And they're like, well, what makes you think we're not compatible? Well, we have a major conflict of interest. Your profile says you don't want any kids. And he's like, oh, well, people change their minds. See, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit around wondering, waiting, hoping, wishing that you change your mind when you're telling me up front you don't want kids. No thanks. I don't even want you if you're on the fence. The whole undecided, I'm open. Nah, at this point, I kind of need you to like want kids because that's what I want. And I want them relatively soon, you know. But I mean, I guess at this point it doesn't matter. I should say on my dating profile, I actually changed my dating profile to say that I have children. So if a guy is searching for women who don't have kids, they're not gonna find me. Cause I mean, quite frankly, I've got two in winter camp. Yeah, but you know what? That's not gonna be a good situation for her if she forgets to take her birth control. Because men like that who really don't want kids, they're probably using the withdrawal method anyway. And I know men who wear a condom and still withdraw because that's how much they're trying not to have a baby. That's right. People tell you who they are the first time you meet them, exactly, and you need to believe them when they tell you. You might check out exactly, exactly. So again, I'm just not interested in wasting anybody's time. So I updated my profile to say that I have kids. And some men don't want kids of their own, but they don't mind if you already have kids. That's how my ex was. Didn't have any kids of his own. Claimed he never wanted any kids of his own, but was completely open to dating women who had young children, which baffles me. But with his first wife, he was actually trying to have a baby. His second wife is even younger. Well, his first wife was older than me. He was already 5 years older than me. So she was the same age as him. His second wife is younger than me. So he's got to be. His birthday is in May. So if I'm 38, he's 43, and his wife I think is like 34, 35, something like that. His second wife. So he might be still looking for a kid of his own. I don't know. He apparently didn't want no kid with me. Although he got in an argument with me one time and said, you had one little pregnancy scare and run off and get birth control, like you don't want me to be your kid's father." Wait, well, first of all, I didn't have a pregnancy scare. I wasn't sure whether my cycle was late or not. That's number one. Number two, I didn't just run off and get birth control. We were using the withdrawal method, and I had a wellness exam coming up. So while I was at the doctor, I asked for birth control. It seemed like the responsible thing to do. And now you the one said you didn't want any kids. Neither one of us are in a financial position to have children. But now you mad at me? So craziness. I don't know. He was all over the place. I dodged the bullet, I'm sure. I'm sure I dodged the bullet. Mm-hmm. All right, ladies. So we're actually coming up on an hour and 45 minutes. I'm willing to give another 15 if y'all have any more questions. I think this video is probably already longer than most people are going to want to watch. I will say, I finally put in some vacation time for the rest of the year so I can get some time off of work and help with my stress. Along with that is some time around my actual transfer. So if my transfer is the week of the 12th, that's the week before Thanksgiving. I requested that Thursday and that Friday off. The entire Thanksgiving week, and then I think a day or two after the Thanksgiving week, because the weekend of Thanksgiving is my 20-year high school reunion. So that makes me feel a little old to go to my 20-year high school reunion. Am I going to continue dating once I have my kids? Well, I want to say yes, because I am still looking for a husband, Miss Anonymous, but the question is, will I have time and a babysitter? So I think I could. I mean, I think I want to get out at least once a month with the girls, or whether that's a date or with the girls, I don't know. I think it's really hard to date when you have a newborn, right? So I think my kid would have to. I'd probably have to put off dating at least for a year. So we'll see. I know. I said I said in a video, I don't know when it's going to post, but HR actually sent me an email that was like, "Oh, we're working on the accruals, and we noticed you haven't taken any vacation time all year. Is this correct, or have you just not requested vacation time that you took already?" And I'm like, "No, that's right. I haven't taken any vacation time all year, and I had 16 days plus a floating holiday plus 5 days that flowed over from last year. So I have all these days, and vacation time is pretty much use it or lose it at my job. So I can only float 5 days from this year into next year. So I got to take the time. I want to float 5 days into next year so that I can use it for maternity leave, hopefully. I do. I really need some time off, and I need time to not do anything because a lot of times I'll take days off and then I'll work anyway. I'm doing some work around the house or I'll do some actual work or whatever the case. I need like time off where it's actual time off. No computer, no phone, no work, no housework, no yard work, and all of that. My I have a bachelor's degree in computer science with concentrations in numerical analysis and computer information systems. And I have a master's degree in software engineering. But I'm not a developer. I'm an IT consultant, but I'm not a developer. I'm sort of a software expert that does like installations. I can do design as well because I have like the people business skills. And I do a little bit of development on the side, so I'll do like some SQL development every now and again. So get my little programming chops out of that. But I love what I do, and I wouldn't work as hard if I didn't. Um, I should have a baby moon. I don't know that I will have the vacation time for a baby moon because, again, I can only float 5 days of vacation into next year. So I will have 16 days plus the 5 days plus my floater, and I want to take a 12-week maternity leave. And here in the States, maternity leave is pretty much like 6 weeks, 8 weeks if you have a C-section. But at my job, I'll only get paid full salary for the first 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, I think it drops down to 70% of my salary. But I can supplement that 70% with vacation time. So I'm going to try as best I can to stretch it to 12 weeks. But I think stretching it to 12 weeks, I will probably end up having some unpaid time, which means I have to put some money away to keep the bills paid if I'm going to stay out a whole 12 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if I'll have the time to take a baby moon, the vacation time, because of what I'm trying to do with the the maternity leave. But because if I get pregnant now or in November, the baby will likely be born in July. So, I mean, I want the whole 12 weeks. I might take like a baby moon weekend somewhere. Oh, before the end of the year? I could do that. I've got a well, let's look at it this way. My transfer will be right before Thanksgiving. I'll have almost 2 weeks off around the transfer. So that's a little bit of a baby moon, although I'm not really going anywhere except back to Philly for my reunion. Um, I will, because I have so many days, I'll have almost every Friday off between Thanksgiving and the end of the year. And then I'll have like the last week of the year off as well, and trying to take all my vacation time. So I mean, it's It's 3 weeks of vacation that I got to take between now and the end of the year. So I guess in a way, that's a little bit of a baby moon. I guess I can find something to do, maybe a cruise or something during that time. When will I consider adoption? See, the thing is, adoption's pretty complicated. The question is, do I want a baby or do I want a kid? Right? If I wanted a kid, I could do fostering to adoption, which is actually a lot more. I don't want to say cheaper, but it's a little bit more fiscally doable. But to have like a baby, like someone who wants to place their who is pregnant and wants to place their baby for adoption, that's even more expensive than what I'm paying for IVF right now. Because a lot of times these people can't get to the doctor's appointments, need transportation to the doctor's appointments. I have a girlfriend right now that is doing adoption, and she's upwards in the 45-50,000 mark right now, trying to do adoption. So adoption isn't, if you want a baby like a newborn, it's not cheap like some people think it is. It really isn't. As far as adoption, I think my insurance actually gives me 4 retrievals a year up until I have a live birth, and then after a live birth, they'll only give me 2 more retrievals after that. So of course that also means I can't bank any embryos, which means I have to do transfers and not bank any embryos, but they'll continue to pay. So I think I will continue. They don't cut off IVF until 44. If I'm not having the baby myself, I don't mind having a baby later in life. I just don't want to be pregnant at 50. That's all I'm saying. Play a video, you'll get technology videos. What? Do you know rural? I don't know what you're talking about. Unless you're just in here spamming the chat here. But I don't know. I've got a few long weekends coming up. I guess is a 3-day weekend enough to be a baby moon? I can maybe plan something over a 3-day weekend. No, insurance does not pay for PGS. Insurance doesn't even pay for cryopreservation. I'm paying out of pocket for that. They're not paying for the biopsy. They're not paying for the cryopreservation. For both my retrievals, I had to pay. Hi Ninja. I had to pay $1,000 for the freezing of the eggs. That's just the process for the embryos to go through freezing. Then it was another $365 to pay for the actual storage of the frozen embryos for a year at my RA's office. And then the biopsy for PGS testing was $2,500 for each retrieval. That's no matter how many embryos I have at the end of 5 days, $2,500 to biopsy them all for PGS. And then the PGS lab testing was a separate cost that was $150 for each embryo up to 8, and then 9 embryos and above is $100, and then another $150 for shipping. So both my retrievals, I had 3 embryos go for PGS, so the lab testing cost me $600 both times. I had to pay $2,500 both times for the biopsy, and I had to pay the $1,000 both times for the freezing. And mind you, my 2 IVF retrievals were about a month and a half apart. So, yeah, I'm kind of feeling like broke right now. Kind of feeling like broke. I don't know if you've been watching my previous videos. My AC was broken. I had to replace the inside system as well as the outside system. That cost me another $6,200. Yeah. the joys of home ownership. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the second retrieval, the first retrieval insurance paid for it, but I had a co-insurance, so I had a co-insurance of about $1,900 on the first retrieval. On the second retrieval, for those who've been following, insurance denied. I had to pay the clinic where I had the retrieval done. That was $7,500. Um, plus the $3,500 and the PGS lab testing. Um, so yeah, I very very quickly I spent on just TTC. I spent about $15,000 within two months, two and a half months. So fortunately, my meds are covered by insurance. I haven't paid any more than $175 for my meds and the cycles. So that's a blessing. I know there are women out there paying $4,000 or $5,000 for meds. So I'm extremely blessed for what my insurance is doing. So I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm ungrateful about that. I don't know if I will see Arlette. I've been following Arlette for a long time. I mentioned in the comments of her videos that I was from Philly and that we could get together. Although recently on Instagram, she was asking where everyone was. I told her I was here in Orlando, but then I was from Philly, and she said, "Oh, I didn't know that." So I think maybe she forgot, or just didn't know. She's got a lot of followers, and she thought maybe if I was in town, she's having a brunch November 17th in Philly, but I'm not going to be in Philly that weekend because that's the weekend either right around or right after my FET. But I'll be in the next weekend, and she said maybe we could do lunch. So I gave her a couple of options because I'm only going to be in town for a couple of days. I'll fly in Friday, and then I'm back out on Monday. So and then the reunion is Saturday night, and I'm on the planning committee, so I kind of have to like be there the whole time, like kind of before it starts and all of that. So probably help with decorations or whatever. So I don't have a lot of time up there. So I'll see if we can get together and maybe do lunch with Arlette. That would be awesome. If not, then maybe next time I get up to Philly relatively often. Considering it's my hometown, I never have to get a hotel when I go there. Hi, Ninja. Hi, cutie. Yeah, but it'd be awesome. I've never met her face to face. And she's from my hometown, so Philly all day. So I'd love to get a chance to meet her and little baby Joy Chaser. That would be awesome. Yeah, yeah. You weren't here for the treats earlier. Oh, yeah. Here, Ninja. For real. Oh, he jumped down. But yeah. All right, ladies. So I think I'm gonna have to cut this off at the 2 hour mark because then it just gets too long for anybody else to watch it. 2 hours is probably too long anyway. But it was great chatting with you ladies this morning. It's always great to do a live chat. I guess I will try to do them more often. We'll see how it goes. When I get pregnant, I have plans, and you can all hold me to this. When I get pregnant and give birth, the plan is to do a live every week on like Saturday morning. Just to kind of keep up with you all. That way it keeps me from having to edit or anything like that. So I like the live chats. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Sticky baby dust to all those TTC. Bye, ladies.